All right, so to get back into our sketch, let's right click and press edit. All right, let's go to the front view by clicking on the front face of the navigation cube. Don't forget your scroll wheel lets you zoom in and out, and if you hold down the scroll wheel like a button, you can drag what you're looking at across the screen. Again, right now I'm pressing down on the scroll wheel like it was a button because it is a button. Now, all these little things you're seeing are constraints, right? These are actually coincident constraints, which mean that 2 points at the end of these lines are together. And then this is a horizontal constraint. You can see the two orange highlighted lines, meaning they're horizontally lined up. If you don't want to see all those constraints, you can uncheck this box right here, show constraints, and now you just have less to look at. All right, let's talk about this circle that I put on right here. All right, when you put on a circle, you have to give it two things. You have to give it a size and a location. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight this circle and delete it. All right, and to draw a circle, you would go to the center point circle tool. Notice it has two white dots. That means you have to click twice to generate that circle. So I'm going to turn on the circle tool. Notice it's highlighted. And then you have to click somewhere. Click once, and that'll be the center. And then you drag, and then click again, and now you have a circle. All right, I'm going to turn off the circle tool. You can also hit escape. Now this circle does not have a location. Notice I can drag it anywhere I want. So as of right now, it does not have a location. It also does not have a size. All right, does not have a size. The two way you describe the size of a circle are the diameter or the radius. Okay, the diameter is the distance from one side all the way to the other, and the radius is half of that, the distance from the center to any point, any edge, or any part of the circle, right? So when you click the dimension tool, right, you're going to click on the circle just once, and then drag, and notice that line. Let's zoom in here. This line is going all the way across the circle. That's called the diameter. All right, so if I click, and let's just go with a diameter of 1 for now, just to demonstrate something, right? If I were to measure the distance from the center to the circle right here, I would get 0.5, right? That is exactly, it says cannot be added between a curve and one of its points. But I just want you to see if the diameter is 1, like 1 inch, then the radius would be exactly half of that, 0.5. Okay? So anyway, the symbol right in front of the 1, you see this 0 with a line through it. It's not a 0, it's the symbol for diameter. It represents a circle with a line going all the way across. So that little symbol before the 1 means diameter. Okay, so now my circle has a size. It's a 1-inch diameter circle. That's really big. Let's double click on it. Again, if you're trying to double click, make sure you don't have the dimension tool on, all right? Because then it'll think you're trying to make a new dimension. If you're just modifying a dimension, you want all your tools off and you double click on the dimension. I'm gonna go with 0.5. And then again, so here, now my circle has a size. Notice the size is not changing when I move it around, but it doesn't have a location, okay? I'm going to move the dimension to the outside of the circle. It needs a location. Every circle needs a vertical location and a horizontal location. So notice this big rectangle on the outside here is black because it's fully defined in terms of its width of 2.75 and its height of 6.5, and it's constrained to the origin. So it's black. If we dimension to the corner of that rectangle, it will also turn black. So if I turn on the dimension tool and I click on the center of the circle and this top corner, if I go in between, I get a diagonal dimension. You do not want a diagonal dimension. You want to drag straight to the right until it turns vertical, or again, here I'm in between the two orange dots. Make sure you're zoomed in and you drag straight up and it will turn into a horizontal dimension. So let's give it an exact distance. I'll just say 1, and then I'll do the dimension again from the center to the edge. Now I put on this horizontal dimension. Now I need the vertical dimension. If I don't put this vertical dimension on, watch what happens. I can still move the circle. It doesn't have a defined position. So I need to know how far left and right is it from this corner and how far up and down is it from this corner. So let's click on the dimension tool and say, I want it to be exactly, let's go with 0.5. And then notice now the circle turns black, which means if I hit escape, turn off my tools, I can't move it, right? And I can't change the size either. So, just something to be careful about when you are drawing. I'm gonna undo what I did, right? Be careful when you draw your circle. If you accidentally draw it directly above something else, like this right here, I got that orange dashed line, the computer is trying to help you. It thinks that you want it to be locked in to a certain location. So I'm going to hit escape again. Watch this. I cannot move this circle left and right. It is constrained to this corner, right here, vertically constrained to this corner because I accidentally drew it directly above that corner. So make sure you don't accidentally line it up with an existing corner of another rectangle or something.